thank you everyone for coming this afternoon. We're going to get started. We're here to speak about RPT Online, which is just going to continue to confuse people because we're going to add more and more to it, so it won't just be RPT. David is going to go through the system today. There's a lot of new features. We'll be talking about the new layout. We'll be talking about the new SFR process. And then we'll be going over the RPT system itself to make sure everyone is familiar with where the buttons have moved. With that, I'll let David start. Oh, and I'll quickly introduce myself. This is David.
Hello.
Hello. David is the primary programmer for the RPT Online system. I'm Dan Green. I'm the Director of IT and Operations for Electrical and Computer Engineering and the WolfTech IT Group. And with that, David.
All right, so first off, I'm just going to start on the Help tab, and then I'm going to work my way down these tabs here. So you'll notice, again, every year you should see this confidentiality agreement.
Louder.
Sorry, yes. Okay, sorry. So this is the main Help page right here. You'll see there are some resources for you here. We have instructional videos. This includes some of the videos posted by the Provost's office on particular topics, as well as our last 2 years, this same meeting, and then also some individual topics related specifically to using this application are at the bottom. They're a little bit outdated. We need to redo some of them, but for the most part, they still apply to the RPT process. Frequently asked questions, it's been slightly reorganized. You'll see access, how do you get access, reviews, stuff relating to your reviews, permissions, settings. So if you have any questions, feel free to come here first, and then if you don't find anything, you can submit a ticket right here, and that'll send a help ticket right away to me, and I will answer it pretty quickly. Support contacts. This is for your liaisons if they want to be listed on this page for your faculty to see who they need to contact. The way you would set this up is in the permissions page, but we'll jump to that in a little bit. The settings page. We've added this policies, regulations, and rules tab here, and that basically corresponds to your individual. And again, we're doing this from the department liaison's perspective right here. So this pertains to this particular department, the Agriculture and Human Sciences. And so over here, you would just enter in whatever your reg is. Let's see.
This is something that each department just needs to do once.
If you don't do it, you'll get to a point where it will prompt you and say, you need to do this before continuing with the SFR. So it's not really something that you need to remember per se, but this is where this lives now. Announcements is still here, and that's basically if you want to create an announcement on any review pages, you can write something here for your unit to see, and some people use that for important dates or upcoming meetings. All right. We'll jump along here to permissions. So permissions here, you can edit the existing people. You can create a new person. I'm going to go ahead and edit this person right here and add them for a support contact, and you can update that. Uh-oh.
One quick thing to note, with the permissions, you're going to find, you've always in the past dealt with the department head and liaison, and so this is what Dave is doing now. But you're also going to now have a lot more control over creating groups that you can then use to give permission to specific faculty candidates or to be used within the SFR system.
Yeah, so specifically we're trying to make sure that we know exactly who the people are that have access to the system. And so if you have somebody that is an administrative appointment, not necessarily a liaison, we'd prefer it if you enter them in as an administrative appointment and put what they are in there so that we know. That will also add that to their profile as well, in case in the future you need to put that on their review, their RPT review. You already know what their appointments are. I'm going to jump here to the DVF tab.
Let's stop for a second. I just want to make sure that that was all clear. We're going pretty fast. Sorry, we've got twice as much content to cover this year. So liaison's pretty straightforward.
The DVF here, you'll notice everyone's highlighted in green right now. And the reason for this is the voting in the RPT reviews is now tallied automatically. So it was brought to our attention that some voters might be ineligible for whatever reasons, be it your college rules or your department rules. So in that case, you would need to mark those certain people ineligible for the DVF. And so you can do that here. And so now there's only 3 eligible voters. And again, the DVF will recognize the rank of the individual professor. So you don't really need to stipulate which, if they're in the associate or the full DVF, it handles that all for you. And then over here on the right-hand side, you'll see all the reviews that that DVF has access to. Currently, they don't have access to it because that's not unlocked yet, but when you visit the review page, you'll see exactly under where the groups are, which groups can see that particular review at that time.
Yes.
So if somebody is serving on college level today and they're ineligible for department and the system has them at college level, will it automatically do that, or everybody has to go in and check?
We're not familiar with which rules apply, I guess, to your particular department or college. So you would have to go in there and say this person is ineligible.
But this is how you would enable that.
Okay, and then
I have a question.
yes.
Yes.
So if this is the overall DVF eligible and eligible, what about individual cases?
Individual cases. If there's an individual case, then you would have to contact us for that because that's a little bit tricky.
In what sense? Just to clarify.
If there is a conflict of interest, whatever it may be that makes them ineligible just for one specific.
We have that built in, right? It's actually not on here, but it's for relatives. So that's generally what we get that request for, is if it's a person is related to them. I guess, would there be other cases where that happens besides relatives?
There could be.
Okay.
If you can think of what that, we'd like to know. We originally thought there were a lot as well, and then we couldn't come up with them. So let us know what that would be.
It's possible. It's just not fully accessible to everyone right now. So you'd have to send in a ticket for that.
I'm wondering if we should jump to faculty and come back to permissions.
Just
Jump.
to chime in there, we had a case where they were both candidates for a position, an administrative position. So it didn't seem
Interesting.
have the one vote on their promotion while they were both competing for a senior administrative position.
Okay.
I will say that there are sometimes these cases that we will ask the provost to kind of go, is that enough to make them ineligible? Yeah, okay. We'll make a note of that. Yes?
So in our college, the members of the college committee do not vote in the college.
That's what Christine just came up with. Yeah. So in that case, you can go into, well, is it they're not, right, so they're eligible, they're on the college committee, therefore they're not eligible at the department. In which case, you would go back into, at the department level, and mark those folks as ineligible. And that would just remove them from any of the voting count at the department level.
So you
there an
won't.
advantage to, before you had this mechanism, the mechanism to accomplish that was some of those on the college level would be deleted from the department, and they would only exist on the college level. Is there a benefit to that being here? Does this give them the ability to access?
You will no longer be filling in, and yes, they would still retain access. They just wouldn't be able to vote. The major change and why we have to have that tracked is because in the cover letter in the past, you'd have to fill in, there's 6 people eligible and then 2 people not eligible, and all that's automatically done now. So you won't have to fill that in the cover letter anymore. We've had a number of folks that had to go back and resubmit because they had counted wrong. So we're just eliminating the count entirely. So that's why we're tracking it now in the system. Yes?
My department last year, we had a committee, a review committee that made recommendation to the faculty, but the faculty didn't have access to the whole committee. And so apparently now all the faculty are eligible, we have access to the full dossier.
Your faculty have always had access as long as your liaison added them into the system. So that's one of the key steps is making sure that your RPT liaison has added all the faculty in correctly. And once they are, they will have access. And if you're a department that has in the past shared all that information through shared drives, et cetera, you don't need to do that. You can use the system for all of this. Before we get to any more roles, actually, let's just go to the faculty tab real fast. One of the other setups that every department liaison will have to do is make sure that we have all your faculty in the system correctly. That's key to all of this. You'll see here where we already have a number of faculty listed. Adding them, if we're missing anyone, is just bottom right.
And there's a couple of ways to add them, but there's some examples here. And if I did like last name, first initial, that works, or first initial, last name, or even Unity ID or employee ID all work in this field right here. So I'll go ahead and add one here. You'll also notice that this table is completely searchable now. So if you need to find a faculty member really quickly, like the one I just added, you can type that into here. You can type in their Unity ID or their employee ID. If you are a college liaison, you can also type in the department in here. For here, that wouldn't really matter. You can also type in the rank, first term.
Another thing to note is that we are asking you to enter in all your faculty. The system, because of the advanced groups, will handle the non-tenure track promotions if you wish to use the system for that.
And that'll also be beneficial for when you start using this for the SFR, because all faculty will be needing to do that as well. And so also you'll notice down here this button, add faculty to groups. So here you can choose to select however many you want, or if you need to limit which types of professors you're adding to it, you can do that, and then click this and decide which groups you want to add those faculty members to. That's also beneficial if you're trying to create your own custom groups for viewing particular reviews. Should I go into the faculty profile? I guess
One other thing we will notice is that you can now click on the individual faculty member and see profile all the information we have on them. Over time, as we add in the SFRs, as we add in RPT processes, all this will be kept in the system so you can just look them up and see all that information. Anything new we add from here pertaining to a particular faculty member will be captured in one place.
And if for some reason you need to edit their rank, you can do that as well here. So I know from year to year, they will have promotions. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys if somebody has a review, it'll show up in here as well. So that's a quick and easy way. If you need to go and see a review, you can go in there. And if they have an SFR, a button will show up here for you to jump to that. I guess we can go back to groups and committees. So just quickly, here's a rundown of your various types of groups, and you'll see which system they pertain to. You'll see we've already loaded in the PTR committee groups just as default, because when we start rolling out that system, you'll be wanting to add faculty members to that particular committee.
Quick caveat, we have not yet rolled out PTR. We're working on it. That's coming in a few months.
This is if you want to create a custom group, and you'll see these are the various options here. You can control whether or not the access is limited or immediate, and limited access means there is a switch that you can turn on and off on the particular review to say, this is when I want this group to view it, versus immediate, which is like a committee where you want them to have access to that review right away. You can restrict their access by particular candidates. You'll see it only has the one candidate here now, or even proposed actions. And then at the bottom is where you would add in the various group members if you want to do that. You don't have to add group members. You can create an empty group and add them later if you want.
So for those of you who are dealing with interdisciplinary reviews, and you've got 5 people in your department that are actually reviewing a candidate, or potentially 5 people in your department and 2 outside of your department, you can now create a custom group just for that one candidate. You can go in and you can specify that this group is only for that candidate, and then you can say who has access to it. And that way, when those people log into the system, they will see that candidate and that candidate alone. Yes?
And that is for the promotion and tenure process.
Correct. It will also then be for post-tenure. We'll have the same access when we get to that point. So you'll be able to set up custom access for individual candidates for PTR, for individual candidates for RPT. Yes?
So I think it's great that you can go in and customize and do all this. I would also envision that you probably will have to have a best practice for your college or your departments as to who's going to be the one to do that, right? So for example, if you don't want folks to go to, people on the department, college level committee, and can't go to the department, then it probably would be a best practice for the person in college to mark who's on the committee, because they'll know. And that, I'm not saying that's not to be done.
Sure.
There should be some we're going to have to develop some prescriptive practices to make sure that everybody's not going in and adding something. I thought you did this.
Sure. It is our expectation that each liaison will be responsible for their department and each college liaison for their college. The college liaisons do have control now at the departmental level, as opposed to previous institutions where they had to switch over to the department. That's no longer the case. So they can go in and check everything to make sure that is set up correctly.
The other thing that I will point out really quickly is this groups column on the faculty page. You'll see that you can actually see what groups that particular faculty member is in, all the way up to the university level committees. So you'll be able to see, I think that's okay. But you'll be able to see at least the college level. I'm not too sure about the university level, if that's confidential or not. Is that?
Shouldn't be.
Okay. Well, then you'll be able to see that as well when they add those in. And you could quickly jump and see those as well there. I guess we could look at the SFR access, because this is kind of how you start to set up the SFR process. And so here you'll see we have 3 main roles here, and the department head is automatically added on all 3 of these roles. An editor is someone like the faculty member who will be able to edit the document themselves, and collaborate, because there's a portion of notes that you can add to it. And so you'll be able to see who edited what at what time, and any accompanying notes that they have with those edits. An approver, once the document has come to a finalized draft, they'll submit it for approval, and then everyone on the list of approvers will have to check off on that, and if one person denies that approval, then it will be sent back to the draft stage again. And then if it... Yep.
One thing I want to check real quick, because we just rapidly switched gears there. How many here deal with the RPT process? How many of you deal with the SME/SFR process? Good to know, just double checking. So pretty much same folks. Okay. And that is one thing we will say is that in the new system, there is now an SFR liaison role as well. So if your department does have 2 different people dealing with this, you will be able to set that up separately. Sorry, continue.
So these are basically the default, and they're the permanent access levels. Oh, yes.
Sorry, SFR is Statement of Faculty Responsibilities. It replaces the old Statement of Mutual Expectations.
These are just the permanent level users here, and so an individual faculty member won't be able to edit this list. So this is controlled by the liaison.
So for every SFR person you have, there are certain people that will always have access. This is where you define that. When we get into the SFR SIP process itself, we're going to give the faculty the ability, and you, the ability to also add additional people for each individual candidate, or each individual faculty member. Sorry, I have to come up with new terms for all this. Sorry, go ahead.
Should we go? I think we'll go over the SFR module here. So it does say it's for beta testing, and it is ready for use now. So if you do want to go in there and try to break it, please do.
I will say that Catherine has been gathering a list of departments who wanted to be early adopters, let's say, who are very eager to move forward on this. We're expecting them to start using this over the next month. And then anything they do find, we'll fix. After that, I don't know the timeline at which Catherine's intending to make this a requirement, but for now, it's open for early adopters. You can, but I suspect LAS is literally like, yeah, not that far away.
You'll notice this page is kind of similar to the faculty list. The only difference here is that you can actually see an overview of all of the realm percentages once they're filled in, as well as the status of that particular document and when it was last updated. To start these off, you could select all of your faculty members and come down here and hit this button, and it will send out an email to everyone saying, please log in and come start your SFR.
You're actually standing in front of the button, so they have no idea what you're talking about. There was a button that said start the process.
This button down here. So you can go into an individual one and start it. And right here, right away, you'll see the list of regulations, and these are the ones that we filled in earlier. Some basic instructions, and then some guidelines from the SME task force. That kind of...
Should that be the SFR task force?
It's called the SME task force, but...
Yes.
On your previous page, which you don't need to go into, with all the faculty and their weights,
Yes.
is it possible to download that, export that as a spreadsheet?
I'm going to say yes, simply because I know it'll take him 5 minutes to do it.
That would be very useful to have that.
I'll take notes. You don't have to.
Okay. So you'll see on the left-hand side here is basic navigation through the various realms and tabs in this document builder. At the bottom, there is a continue button, but you can also click these to go to the next screen. Here's the access tab for this individual.
Oh. Yes.
Does it force those to add up to 100%?
It doesn't force it, but it won't let you submit it if it doesn't add up to 100. So
I'm going to go with yes.
it's a roundabout way.
Roundabout way of saying yes,
Yes.
you will have to have 100.
Yeah. So here's the access, and you'll notice here that these are the permanent editors that we set up on that page earlier in the permissions tab. And so those are there for auditing purpose in case somebody wants to see who can view this document. The individual faculty member can also now add whoever they choose to have access to this document if they want, or if they need somebody to approve it. I don't know that will happen too often, but it's there anyway.
I think we're going to find it more often in the interdisciplinaries where you've got multiple department heads perhaps might need to sign. We do differentiate between those that can help you build the SFR. A lot of departments will not have, say, the department head dealing with that. They'll have multiple associate heads broken down. These 5 people deal with this person, these people with this. All of this can be accounted for. And we do differentiate between someone that can go in there and work with you and edit it. Those of you that, and that may also be the liaison in many cases because they spelled something wrong. The approvers, which basically everyone's agreed this is what we're moving forward with. And then finally, the signatories. Some cases you will have multiple signatures beyond the department head.
There's a couple of questions.
Yes.
You said this is open for beta testing, but as a person who works with this system, can I view this page when I get back to my department just to look at it?
You can view it right now.
Okay, cool.
Well, let me rephrase that. You can go in and view it, but you'd be initiating it. So the moment you go into, you start it, yeah. Pick a faculty member you want to play with and let them know they're about to get an email saying, this has been initiated for you.
Yeah, so I'm wondering in terms of your categories you have there, teaching, discovery, et cetera, is there a university level definition of what that means, or is that determined by the department?
That is university.
Those are.
So is there a way that we can find out how they define like artistry versus discovery?
Yes.
Versus innovation?
All those lists of regulations we pointed you at, read through all those horrific documents and you will find in detail as to what each of them actually stand for.
The reason why I'm asking is representing the College of Design and for other schools as well, where we do a lot of integrative work. We might have a faculty member who's doing artistry, meaning something was exhibited,
Okay.
that is actually coming from something that was discovered or innovative. So how do we understand and how to help our faculty interpret those categories?
That would be the.
I think that's an ongoing process in discussion with the provost office. But
We've got the hints, don't we?
we do have some guidelines from the SME task force as they outlined it. Not all of the realms on here have a particular little prompt above them, but there are some that give you a few extra tips on what's expected in that particular box.
We had discussed, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's probably a question to chat with Catherine about, but the policy, the overall policy is the home for these definitions of the 6 realms right now. That will be changing from the SME, right, is changed to the SFR, right? And they will be
I know at one time we did have an idea for, you've got right now the official rules, you've got the SFR committee explanations, but then there was also the discussion of would departments and colleges also need a way of making suggestions, prods. That was discussed. I'd have to go back and see where we ended up on that. But I'll make a note that that was thought of. Yes?
Could you make it so that when you mouse over artistry, the box pops up and reminds you what that means?
Yes, we can.
Well, I mean, with
Well, that's true. Yeah, based on whose definition. But yeah, okay.
But I would say do it for all of them, not just artistry.
No, yes. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was talk of letting the liaisons or the college put in their own extra help tips on each realm as well as it pertains to their particular units. So it's not something hard to do. We could definitely put that in there as well. All right, and so moving on, this is the SME section. This this will only apply to people that currently have one. So that's why this button is here. And so you'll notice starting on these sections, there's also a mark complete at the bottom. So once you come through and complete this, you can say, all right, I don't want anybody to touch this section anymore because I'm satisfied with the way it looks. But let's go ahead and upload a document here.
I will say that for this part of the process, all of your faculty, we need to capture the old SME document, the most current document that you have. And so it needs to be uploaded in the system, and you have to fill in the current realms that they have for the percentages. Why we need to know that becomes important later, as well as when it was last signed. Here's one of the things that will be very particular to each department. You can have the individual faculty go and do this. In a lot of your departments, you are now chuckling, going, there's no way my faculty is going in and doing that. So the liaisons can come in to all of these, initiate them, and fill all that stuff in, that first part. Technically, liaison can do all this stuff. Most of you probably have liaisons who will be filling out the vast majority of this information and then having a faculty member go, yeah, that looks right, click. But we do allow for the back and forth and the faculty to go in and change it themselves. We just know that that's not necessarily realistic. So liaisons will have some work when it comes to getting the SMEs in the system so that we can then have SFRs moving forward. Yes?
So I think that the beauty of the SME system, which it wasn't beauty, is that there was a dialogue going on between the faculty and the department that this was recent.
Yes.
So it's going to be really important.
We're getting to that. Yes. We are just now, all we're doing is capturing the old SME information. That's just the first step, yes.
So going back to my, it must add to 100%. For those of us that had departments where we added to a percent effort.
Right. Yes. The SME percentages aren't going to check for 100% because I know that there was that discrepancy and people probably didn't have the same idea of that. But
at this point, it's just a matter of capturing what is likely a PDF or Word doc somewhere. We just need that converted to a PDF and then uploaded so that we've got it. The idea being is once you've done that, SMEs are done, you are no longer dealing with SMEs. You have switched to SFR at that point. So you've gone in, you filled out your percentages, you've marked it complete. Yay. SME is done, it's checked.
you can click continue here.
Now we get into SFR and the negotiation.
So we had already worked on going to the SFRs from the SMEs this year.
Okay.
So you want that prior SME?
If it's not in here, we don't know about it. So yes, we need to have all of that.
Prior one before we converted this year.
Yep.
Another question is you have to do the whole negotiations in the SFR in the system.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no way to upload a paper document that somebody rewrote it out.
No.
Somebody who's brand new.
Yes.
In this fall doesn't have an SME, and we go straight to the SFR.
Correct. That was one of the options on the SME page. Do you have an SME? If you don't, then you just click no. And then that section's done. So only faculty who have been here previous will have it. Sorry.
And just kind of piggybacking on her question, so we have folks that have created this PDF that is titled SFR.
Okay.
Signed it and whatnot. Obviously, it's not all digital here, it's just PDF. What it is, my hope that I'll upload that SFR in the SME section.
Okay.
Because it is,
How far back does that go? Is it just that 1 year, or does it show?
this past year.
Okay. That is a,
I mean, I think we asked most of our folks to have
it's
a section.
got all the appended section. That's something we'll have to clarify with the provost. That may be something that we can allow, but I need to double check with them first. Well, exactly. The key is making sure that we have whatever you currently have getting into the system. If it's something,
It's also the history.
yeah, and having the history. It's just we have to start somewhere. Do me a favor, send an email to RPT Online, the link that we have at the bottom of all the pages, and explain your case. And then let us talk with the provost and determine if they'd prefer that you go back and put up the actual old SME or start where you are. I think in most of the cases, they weren't thinking that folks had massively switched over yet.
And then let us on.
Once we know, yeah. Well, frankly, the more of you that send us a note, the more of an urgency we'll know it will be. So if you have that scenario, email us. Yes.
A broader question. Can you have a college liaison? Can you assign somebody to kind of oversee the whole process, but not necessarily be the point person?
You can have someone with the liaison permissions that does not display on that contact page. Yes.
Be able to see all of the SMEs from the entire college?
Correct.
Or the SFRs from the college?
Yes.
I think that's currently how it's set up. Yes.
No, you don't. One last. Yeah.
I do have a couple of candidates who had an SME and were working on updating to the SFR.
Yes.
Because a couple of the candidates are discussing putting the SFR and the SME in their dossier. In this system, if the SFR gets signed and approved and they put it in the dossier, so basically it's gone under all the approval levels, is there a way to add that document to the system without having to renegotiate everything and get reapproval? Because it's already been done before the system was ready.
Yeah, there will be a way.
Okay.
Apparently, we're coming up with a way.
If
Believe me.
if that's what's allowed, then there will be a way. But
Okay. 'Cause
I don't know what.
Pitchforks after me.
I will say if they're currently in negotiation, quick. They haven't signed anything. Quick, switch them. Like I said, send us an email. We'll figure out a way of getting you guys in. In the end, we just need to get the information in the system. If we have to manually jigger a few people, we can.
So once you start to add percentages in, the responsibilities box will unlock. So we're going to go ahead and change some of these percentages. Down here, you'll notice there is a Use Template button. This copies in what is from the suggestion that was given by the SME task force. So you can fill in here and then read these instructions. So there is a little bit more instructions here. Oh. But yeah, or you can also clear out at any time if that's not what you want. But let's just say that this one is complete and continue. Just gonna do a couple of these. And then I'll show you what happens when I try to change something. Okay, let's say somebody wanted to come back in here and actually put the name in there. What will happen is you'll be prompted right away to say, all right, something changed, and you can choose whether or not you want to tell the person why you changed it. If it's just adding a name, they could probably figure that out themselves. If it's something more complex, you can add a note here.
And this is where the negotiation comes in. Because while you're doing this and going through the percentages and changing this up, you, the professor, can be in there doing this. The liaison can be going in and making changes. Your department head or whomever you have as an editor can be going in there, reading what's there, saying, nah, it really should be this. This is why I think that. And so that's the negotiation. Each person can go back and forth, making changes until everyone has said, I'm good with what's there.
So you'll notice then it starts adding to these revisions at the bottom, and this is specific to each realm. And so as each change is made, a new revision will be added, and you can expand these and see, all right, this is the note that was left, and this was the original text that somebody had deleted. You can choose to restore that revision, and then you'd probably have to explain why you did that, or you can leave it as is. You can also come in here and start a dialogue, and it'll tell you who left the note, when they left it, and it's particular to that realm. So each realm is kind of self-contained as a discussion in itself. But let's continue. All right. So I didn't quite finish it, but I'm going to try and see.
They had no artistry.
Oh,
Yeah.
what happened there?
You've got a prompt open.
Oh, something is broken.
Okay. That's our one demo bug. We're allowed to have one.
It might be the size of the screen.
Oh. I can see it popping up behind you there.
Yeah.
We'll have to fix that. It's an XYZ.
That's really weird. So basically, it'll tell you that, oh, you didn't complete all this, and these are all of the problems that you need to address, namely that you didn't say that these were complete. And then I think,
So even if you're not using them, you still got to mark them as, yeah, it's a 0.
why is it doing that?
That's
I
a
can't
bug you
even-
need to fix later. Can we preview it?
We
that
can
gonna
preview it. Well,
Of course you can't. There is a preview button that will show you what the actual page will look like. Unfortunately, right now, the demo gods are against us.
well, maybe if I change this.
Is there a way to see the workflow on the SFRs?
You'll see it on the workflow on the individual realm. You'll see at the bottom, you'll see all the revisions being made.
So like as it goes up for approval, like if the dean wanted.
Well, we haven't got to the approval part yet. Well, we haven't got to the sign part yet. Oh, sorry, I see what you mean. Once you've left the department, yeah.
Like if the dean wants them to come through HR before he sees them.
There isn't a flow diagram, if that's what you're sort of thinking of. It's an interesting idea, though.
Is there a way to build
Wow.
in that custom workflow?
Well, the custom the workflow is you will define who can edit the doc, who the final approvers of that doc are, and then who the signatories are. The workflow is you go back and forth continually until everyone agrees. There are some exceptions where you cannot agree, in which case there's a rule where that then gets auto-prompted up to the dean. The system will handle that. Once you do have approval, that will unlock the signatory. And then just with anyone that's been doing RPT, it's an online signature. It's still DocuSign. We're probably going to switch to something else next year, but for now, it's that. You'll sign off. You're done for the year. If it needs to go to the dean for their signature, it does. If not, it doesn't. Can't remember if all cases go to the dean right now. But
So basically, that screen that was supposed to pop up would ask you to give the explanation of changes for the document. If there was changes in percentage, it will notice that and say, all right, this changed, please provide that explanation. And
so that's the one time we're going to ask that. At the end of all the approvals happened, your percentages changed, explain why. That information is kept year by year by year as part of the process so that you can track the revisions over time.
And then as an approver, this is the screen that they see, which is similar, and they just have accept or decline options here. If there's more approvers, then it will show down here. If they choose to decline, they need to leave a note, and then this note will be shown at the top of it. So now it's back in draft stage, and this is the note that was left for the person that says it got rejected until they submit it for approval again. Oh, now it's working magically. So here we go. Okay, we'll accept it this time. And now this is the last stage. Because we're not signed in as the department head,
Go
who's
ahead
one
and
of the
review it.
signatories,
Review the SFR if you would.
I'll review it.
Yeah. Just so everyone can see what it will actually look like. With, stuff in there.
Here at the bottom, you'll see where that explanation was put in, and then the attached SME as well becomes part of this document.
So this will be the document that everyone will see from going on from now on, showing your current, any of the percent changes and the explanations, and then it will have the old SME appended for perpetuity. Yes?
So I'm not in favor of more rules, so I guess I'll think that's important. Will the SFR rule in the provost office capture some of the nuances of what you just said? I can imagine that some aspects of this might go sideways if somebody doesn't do something right, or, doesn't respond.
This was written based on those rules. So we are only doing stuff as was outlined in the regulations. And that the SFR committee told us to do. So, yeah.
SFRs, the rules, so that they'll understand how and why they have to do this way.
The how and why of doing it is because they said you must do it. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, we added in, for most folks, you will never use half the features. We've got this in here for the one case where they just can't make up their minds. No, yes, yes, no, yes. It's built to cover that. For most folks, the faculty members go in, type in a few things, or okay, the liaison will type in a few things. Yes, that looks good, click, click, done. It'll be a quick process for most folks. But should you go back and forth, the system will handle that. It will capture all the changes. And so while we'll have the instructions that explain that should you disagree, it goes back and forth, and we'll have this lovely video. That I think is the extent to what that will be there. And of course, we're always there to answer any questions, should there be any. Yes?
As a member of the SFR task force, I think that
Blame this person. Sorry.
on that task force could speak. What I think you're going to find is that when we looked across the departments were doing this completely differently. And so we came up with standard guidelines. That's what the template is. And they went past Captain Stewart's office, all of that. I would really look at what the guidelines were because we spent a lot of time negotiating the differences between the various departments.
Yes?
Once it's fully populated, is it searchable?
The
All
PDF?
people who work on water quality in your department, like, can you search within there for keywords within the SMEs?
Yeah, the PDF searchable. It's created from HTML basically, so it's readable. Unlike scanned documents.
To clarify, the difference between her being able to download the PDF and search it, and her being able to search in the system. Right.
Well, I think you can maybe.
That sounds like a good feature request if we don't.
You can search it in the system too, with the browser.
No, that's not what she wants. We will add in the option to do that.
Ah, yeah, right. You can't search across.
In fact, we don't even have to search PDF because we have everything that made the PDF in the database. So we'll just be searching that. So yes, we will add a keyword search that will allow you to look through all of the responsibilities, et cetera, to see who's got what.
And then finally, the signing portion. This looks familiar if you've used the RPT section, but the department head will adopt their signature and finish.
I had one department head ask me, I remember at one point I had to adopt the signature and I've never had to do that again. Correct. Once you've done that once, you don't have to worry about it again. the system remembers what you chose. You're just clicking the button to sign at that point.
Okay. That basically covers the SFR portion.
Go click on the overview for SFR.
Overview?
Yeah, go back to the SFR main
Oh, this?
section.
Can departments create their own templates that they're going to use to department-wide? Or is the template just a universal one?
The template was the template provided by the SFR committee as part of the let's try and bring everyone together. So that's what's being provided. But
Could be possible.
yeah, we can ask the provost's office if that's,
I think that would have to be a decision. I can tell you
yeah.
there's a huge debate about that on the SFR committee, and we were told to come up with a universal template.
But I could see maybe if there's some sort of prompts that people need for their particular department, right?
Let's chat with the committee. So anyway, one person done, only 100 to go. So that's your SFR process. The nice thing is that once you initiate, your faculty will be extremely responsible and go do all this for you. So as a liaison, you won't have to go back and fill any of this stuff in. It will just get done. But if not, you can go and fix it. But that's SFR. As I said, we're looking for a few good departments to be our guinea pigs. A few people have already recommended themselves for this, but if anyone else wants to, it is open. There's nothing that you need to come request to get access to. Just start playing. Eventually, they're going to make you do it, but in the short term, you can always test with a few of your faculty or go nuts. That should hopefully get it to the point now where moving forward, all the SME/SFR will be captured in our system alongside the PTR process, which is back. So, no, not PTR, RPT. God, we need better initials. RPT is what is same as you've always done, but looks a little bit different. Yes.
When we're building the RPT dossier,
Yes.
will it automatically populate
SFR.
and SFR at the beginning?
That is the plan. We need to get a few more people to get stuff in there.
Because right now we have to upload.
Yeah, my expectation is that we'll automatically be doing that for next time around.
I mean, it can happen
Oh.
this time around.
So if they've already done it,
Yeah, if it's already in there, it can pull it in.
so eager beavers who go in and fill it out already will have that option.
And it will automatically show up as the front of the dossier.
Yes. In fact, we're going to go through one of the candidates, but before we switch to RPT, any more SFR questions? Yes.
When you upload the document, there's no limit to the number of pages.
On
The old SME.
no. In fact, my understanding was the longer the better, because then you had historical.
Kind of limited originally to like 2 to 3
Were they?
pages.
Okay, well then there you go.
Yeah.
We are not enforcing a limit.
We're not in for it, yeah.
Although we are requiring they be PDF if that isn't the case. Yes.
We got 40-some faculty. Will there be 40 new SFRs done online for each one of these faculty?
At some point in time, they will each have to have gone in and filled it out, yes. Whether you do them all at the same time or if you stagger them, I'm now blanking as whether or not they're done every year. Yes, they are.
And each one will have uploaded
Well,
a PDF of their current,
Annual
most
cert.
current SME.
Each one will need to have done that, yes. Whether they do it or you do it is up to each department. But someone is doing that, yes.
That SME information is just for historical? I mean, it won't
Correct.
relate to the new.
It's the one time it'll be captured in the final document. It'll be appended. But we need to have that as the initial template to then start moving forward. So we are capturing that information before we abandon the SME system, basically. Yes.
Will a sample of that document be there so they can see what the end result's going to look like? It's hard to go through the screens and not understand what they're.
as you're going through the screen, at any point in time, you can click preview.
Yeah.
And it will show, just like you can the RPT system where you can see what that's going to look like, you can do the same thing in SFR. Yes?
Just remind us about that annual certification, because if the SFR doesn't change from year to year, all the faculty member has to do is go and do the annual certification.
Yeah.
And not rewrite the whole document.
True. So it does need to be done every year, but they don't, if you don't make any changes, this is SFR, it click, 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 sign. Straightforward. Actually, are we re-signing every year, or are we only? We are certifying every year. I couldn't recall.
The other thing I would say is what Catherine told us was SB for this particular round of RPT, SFR for the next round of RPT, which means if you're converting a department that's got 40 plus people in it, you ought to concentrate on getting the people who are going to be up for next year done.
What she said. Other questions? I saw hands. Last chance. No more SFR questions ever. Ah, yes.
Spell checking?
Spell checking. Okay. Honestly, I think we've looked at that before, but so many of your, maybe it wouldn't be an issue with the SFRs, but with some of the other stuff, you've got so many technical terms that you just light it up. But it's an idea. True, but we don't require Chrome. Well, the university, I'm told, just signed up for a plagiarism system. So, you know, we can always run it through that just to make sure your faculty aren't copying each other. Okay, SFR is done. We are moving forward with RPT. Oh, and just as a quick note, the reviews. When you click on the review system, you will see, here's the RPT reviews we got, the number of faculty, number of groups. As we do PTR, these will be added in. So it's just a quick dashboard that you can quickly see where you are in the process. Go ahead and start the RPT. All of one person. Whoever that department in is lucky.
I will note quickly, I did add this button here, so you don't have to jump into view the dossier. That might be useful for some of you.
The preview button.
The progress bar.
The progress bar.
Go back to the.
Yeah, there is no progress bar.
Yeah, the progress bar was rather busted, we found. We've temporarily removed it because we didn't think it was all that accurate. But if there's we missed the progress bar, we can add that back in.
Well, from the college side, it was easier for me to be able to see what the department's progress, and then when I notice that they upload the dossier, then I go in and I review every one of them before they come to me.
Progress will return.
Add back. We have the progress here, so that shows every single action that's happened on that particular review. But yeah, that's a quick thing to add back. Okay, so the dossier. You'll probably be familiar with this. Here is where you would add administrative appointments if you have those for a particular candidate. And that will also save to the faculty profile as well. So from year to year, you won't have to keep re-entering those appointments. The cover forms here, the dossiers here. You'll notice the reference documents are kind of highlighted in blue now. You can add instructions here. Depends on what you're using these for.
So just a reminder, the reference documents are ones that each department will add in. Maybe it's samples that you provide to your faculty. These are just something that
These are specific to the candidate.
Sorry, that one's specific to the candidate. My bad.
The sample
So what are the reference? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's the non-official documents. It's the here's my portfolio of X, Y, and Z. Sorry, we got a question back there. Yes.
Yes, I have two questions actually. One question is, what is the biggest size of the document that you can upload into the reference document?
Sorry. Into what?
Biggest size?
References.
I think it's about 200 megabytes right now, but there really shouldn't be documents bigger than that. I know somebody had recently contacted me and said they had documents that were 4 gigs big, which is pretty substantial.
What are you uploading that's breaking?
Well, we're in the college, I'm in the college of design.
Okay.
All of our samples and all that tend to be digital pictures and things like that. So our reference docs, they do tend to be bigger.
Okay.
200. Like I have one that he got his down to 480, I think, megabytes. But then I have another guy who has 8, which that's a bonus. But
Okay.
my question is it possible to
We keep increasing it, and we keep finding someone asking us to increase it even more. So let us go back and see. Do me a favor, send a note into RPT Online. Give me a couple examples. These are things that we had, and then we can start getting some ideas of how large they can be. We do find that most of these tend to be clustered in particular colleges where they're trying to upload the movie they made. Yeah. But yes, we have some limits on the amount of space that we have for the system. And that's the problem, that we don't want your one thing to prevent everyone else from uploading all theirs. There may be some alternatives as well that we can work on.
Google Drive links?
Maybe. Send us an email and let's talk about some specifics of just how out of control we want to go.
like an example of like the document?
I want to know, like, this is the massive thing that they want to put up so we can get an idea of what it is, what the format of it is, how big it is. You know, maybe it's a YouTube video and we go, well, don't try and upload the video, upload to YouTube and we make the ability for you to reference it. So maybe instead of uploading a document, we let you put a link into it. That might be something that we could figure out. It'll just be a matter of, just give us some examples and we can figure out a creative way to deal with it. For the most part, most people won't have a problem uploading. It'll just be a few exceptions. I mean, we've got plenty of departments uploading books and whatnot. Yes?
So the link was my question. I was wondering if I upload a PDF with a link and they click on view, will that link work?
If you upload a PDF with a link, will the link in the PDF work? Technically, it depends on whether or not you created that link correctly and whether or not they have permission to go wherever you're trying to send them. I wouldn't recommend adding blank PDFs that just have links in them to go somewhere else. We'd rather try and capture that information. Plus, as we work towards external evaluators referencing these documents within the system, we'd rather keep it within the system as much as possible. That is an improvement we're working on over this next year to try and improve the external evaluators' experience a bit more. I saw other hands. Yes?
That actually relates then, so currently we actually create websites for external evaluators to go and look at the documents and then we then
Yes.
process.
We want to eliminate that.
Okay, you want to stick more in here?
Yes. We want to have the external evaluators logging in. And that's something we're working on, figuring out all those specifics. And that way we can capture, and then when it comes to the evaluations, why have your liaison upload it when the evaluator can just do it? So that is one of the projects we're working on, making that improvement. Sorry, continue.
Okay, you'll notice section 1 through 6 is now split up. You have these first 3 documents over here, and they all have a page limit, 2 pages. You'll also notice that there are these add document heading buttons above certain upload buttons. And so if you have a document that you upload and it doesn't have a header, you can put it on there.
We've had a lot of people in the past who, some of my documents I'm uploading have the headers, some don't. You don't need to go back and edit those. You can either upload them with or without, and then just click the button as appropriate. We will add it to anything that you tell us to.
And removing it also takes away that label. So as you're going through each section, you'll notice at the very top there's a grayed out document right here. Some people are asking, how do I upload into that? That's more of an indicator that section is complete, and it also will let you look at that section individually.
If, as you're using it, you find there are sections that need more explanation, where an icon doesn't make sense, let us know. We stare at this application too much, so what makes sense to us might not always make sense to you, so do let us know if you come across something. Yes?
You can still have to upload the documents. So, for like, if I'm collecting documents from my candidate, I need to tell them to split the first 3 sections apart so I can upload each as a PDF separate
Yes.
instead of the whole program.
The candidate can also go in and upload this first section right here of the individual dossier. Should they choose.
We didn't have that last year.
Improvement.
Sorry, the candidate can go in here, and I can actually switch over and show you what that looks like for them. So when the candidate comes in right away, this is their dashboard, and they'll see, oh, I have an active review. They have the ability to also go in there and just on that section only.
Can a candidate upload reference documents?
Yes.
Which section is it, just the dossier section?
Just the dossier section.
Not anything else.
And then their candidate responses they can also upload when that opens up.
They try to upload to free page.
The system will enforce page limits where page limits are defined.
And you'll see those here. They're under each section. Yes.
So relating to that page limit, in the past there were exceptions for SMEs that were slightly longer due to the number of changes. So they would spill onto a 3rd page. Is that what do we do?
It says 2 pages, but it's secretly 3 pages. We just don't like to advertise that. But yeah, it is technically 3 pages, but the rules say 2 pages.
We're just going to dub out the part I said like 2 minutes ago, I guess, in the video, because obviously I just lied.
Do a quick overview of the viewing sequence of like, at what point can a DVF see what's happened since, and at what point can a candidate go in?
So at this point, yeah, sure. At this point, only the candidate can see this part. The DVF has no access to this whatsoever. That only happens after the cover form has been signed, which basically says, I'm releasing this to everyone. And at that point, you will actually see in your view, I'll switch back to that. You'll see a list of which groups have access to.
I
guess that's jumping down a bit.
Let's keep going where we were going, and you'll see that as we go through.
Okay, so request a candidate signature, and this secretly unlocks the dossier once it's signed by the candidate.
Where'd you go? Oh, it's not you. So the first part, as usual, upload reference documents, upload sections 1A, 1B, 1C, you or the candidate. Page limits are enforced. You can upload it, delete it, edit it, whatever you need to do. Then the candidate signs, and then that's basically locking that in place. Once the candidate signs, no more editing of those first sections. Yes?
Are they getting an email telling them they have to go in and sign?
Yes.
Yes.
Anytime you initiate the signatures, Whoever needs to sign is emailed and told to come into the system and sign. Yes?
You got rid of the faculty review. This means faculty can review it if they are given permission beforehand, and then once the dossier is signed, all faculty can view it.
All permissions are based on the permissions you provide. So when you create those groups, we had 2 layers of permission. One was they can see it from the get-go, and then there's they can see it when it's ready for the review. So for any of you that your standard DVF will see it the way they're supposed to see it without you doing anything. If you have internal committees that review stuff ahead of time, make sure everything's going, you would create that committee, you would give them they can see it from the get-go, and they can follow along the entire time.
Typically, you will probably do this section first, the external evaluations. But we've added the video from the provost's office here, some links to the reg as well on that.
Hold on. We're also making sure that you're aware that this section is hidden from the candidate. They will never see the evaluator section. They will not see anything now for that. There was a discussion in the past about, no, they can't see what the actual evaluation was. And then it was, no, they can see the people, but not what they've said. And now it's, no, they cannot see anything. There was a bit of a department head uprising. And so candidates cannot see who is externally evaluating them whatsoever. They will just not see that section when they go in.
You'll also notice at the bottom of some of these, it'll tell you whether or not there is an automatic heading. On this one, we have it checked for you because typically you're not putting that on the sample letter. And then the 2 down here are generated documents, and so those also have automatic headings.
Scroll
Yes.
up just a little bit further. A little bit more, sorry. You had said there were the places where we could say add document heading.
Right here.
Right. But we get to section 2 through 6, the individual dossier. We still need to make sure those headings are returned to that single document, correct?
Sorry, we're here. Yes, sorry. We can't insert headings inside of your documents. Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Sure, yeah. And we will add a note to that effect.
This is pretty much the same as it was last year.
Check multiple boxes.
You can check multiple boxes, yes.
What did you just upload?
I uploaded the letter.
Well, go back to the, there needs to be the fake text, but, right. So create a new evaluator. Okay. First name, last name, where they're with. The external evaluator letter, is that that's not the letter, that's the review
That's the letter.
that you're sending to them.
No, that's the letter that they sent back.
Thank you. No, the sample letter was provided above. That's why I wanted to clarify that. What you're entering in there is their letter back with their evaluation. We'll fix that.
Was the bio limited to 1,350 characters or words?
Characters.
The bio is just copy and paste it in there?
You can,
Yeah.
as long as it's under 1,350 words or characters.
We'll look at formatting, things like underlines and.
You will. It is simple text. So bolds, italics, that won't copy over.
I was in there today,
Yes?
and I had to refresh between every evaluator. It wouldn't let me add another one until I refreshed.
Okay. That's a bug.
It took me a negative number of characters, but
That is a bug, which we will squash. Sorry.
And my grandfather did, it's only there.
Yeah. You may be getting an email from us.
Well, you have to tell her.
So we will be fixing it. So yes, that is a hard limit on the number of characters. Pasting in more characters should not get you past that. Or at least it won't let you hit submit. We'll fix that. It will just be plain text. You can, of course, go in and view it to make sure it still looks correct. And then we'll fix it so that when you are doing the under the details where you are uploading the letter, and that's something we should clarify. Click on Evaluator real quick. Most folks will go in at the very beginning of the process, fill in everything except for the letter, because you're cataloging who it is that you're actually, who your evaluators for the candidate are. And then as you receive the letters, you're going to come back and pop them in. But we're going to, yeah. So just to clarify the difference there, that is not the letter that was sent to all the evaluators. That's the section above.
It'll also show you if you're missing the letter. And then you just upload it here. And then you'll see also these documents are generated based on, they regenerate every time you add a new evaluator, because it starts to add these all together. Oh.
And I will say, as you do come across bugs, let us know. David is quite literally changing the application throughout the day as he finds these and is adding new functionality in. So most of the time that squashes them, every once in a while it creates them.
And we usually know if there's a bug before you submit it, so.
And you get brownie points if you don't tell us that the bug there is good and you like that bug, but you tell us anyway. Well, you get bumped up in the chain for other problems that we need to solve. Sorry, so moving on.
Here's some more information, particularly about this section. Another video. And then here's a button to notify the DVF. At whatever point you want to do that, that will send an email out to all of them saying you can view this review now. Also down here you will see this is the people that currently can view this. And so there's a quick link here to go look at your groups.
Remember the old allow them to view yes, no toggle? Toggle's gone, it's just a button. You push it, it's open. No undo. Although when they push it, we do record when they opened it, yes?
When they opened what?
When they opened it for DVF view.
It automatically opens after they sign.
It's just a notification, my bad.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. They already could see it, you just told them that.
Okay, and here is the vote section. Now, -1 ineligible faculty. That's not right. So here you'll kind of see that these are, you can't enter anything in them. So that's how it's able to tally that all the votes add up. If you need to make someone ineligible, you can click Manage Group and it will take you to that page. That's definitely a bug.
Demo bug 2.
I think just this text is a bug, but it should be able to add these up correctly. So if you don't add up correctly, it will ask you to put in the missing votes explanation provided on page numbers. I know a lot of people put in a huge explanation here. We're only really looking for the page numbers, which I'm guessing is always on the DVF assessment. Department head assessment. So we might be able to just automate that as well, because we know what page numbers those are.
But the assessment can be multiple pages. Yeah, we can narrow it down. Yes?
Clarification, so are we voting in the DBF like last meeting, like last year, or do we go electronically?
We are not yet doing electronic voting. We're moving towards that. It's all part of the prep. We're inching towards it. In the past, the provost's office really didn't like that, but now they said that they will think about it.
What?
So it is one of the features that we are working on for the next year. So fingers crossed, next year we will have online voting. Because we're more competent than the US government.
That's a pretty low bar right
I'm just saying.
When it's available, do you have to do it that way, or would this put the votes in?
We
can
are
just-
going to make it optional.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't want to do it and just want to enter the votes in, you'll still be able to do so. For those departments who want to get rid of the paper ballots, that'll be the option. Presuming these folks like what we come up with. Don't hold us to it just yet. Yes?
Will we be able to turn on the electronic voting when it happens for the ones that we're missing? What I really worry about is if they can do electronic voting, they're not going to show up. And so I don't want them to have access to electronic voting until they tell me why they can't show up.
I don't think we were ever getting down to that level. It was more of a department would decide whether or not to allow it as the department. We were never going to have it, this person can do electronic, but this one can't. Mostly because there's also the element of we need to keep it anonymous too. So that gets into iffy land there. We can keep it anonymous. It's just when you start adding in more and more information we're tracking. I would say that that would be a feature request. I would love to hear, if you can send that in, we meet with the provost's office a few times a year and kind of go over, these are the things that we've been asked to add in, let's talk them out. Having variations like that would be important to know about. So, any other questions? Since we've dashed your dreams on voting. Yes?
Is the faculty already in the system? We don't have to add them yet, right? They stayed there from last time?
Correct.
Okay, it's just updates we have to do.
Correct. But make sure they are all in there when you first log into this. Because you're probably, in the past, you would have only have been adding in DVF. Remember, now we want you to add in all your faculty. Because you're
If
going to be
they're
using
using
it for SFR. You're going to be using it for non-tenure, interdisciplinary, whatever you might want to use, you can now use the system for. Yes? No? Okay. Continuing on. So we got voting. Department head's recommendation.
And then we start the response period, which is mandatory 5 business days.
And let me repeat that, mandatory 5 business days. There is no way around this.
Yes, we do account for holidays as well,
And weekends.
weekends.
So if you do this right before December 21, the winter break holiday, they get to have all that time period to do, because that's not business days. So keep this in mind at the department level, because we had a lot of people last year who had deadlines set by their college. You will be completed by this date. And they went in and clicked this button the day before that date. You're not meeting your college deadline if that's the case. You click the button, it opens for review, 5 business days before it can go to the college. No exceptions. So just keep that in mind when you're planning this out. And then same thing technically is true at the college level. Same thing, if you need to get this up to the deans, make sure you have sent this within that time period for your review.
And then at this point, the candidate can go in and upload that document.
I see it, huh? Yes.
Little note that says, if like in the past, an email notification was sent to the candidate.
Yes.
Are we, I always followed up that automated message with a different email because there was more I wanted to say. Are we going
It
Yeah.
was always just a standard thing. We've never had a add a note, add additional comments to that automated email. I suppose we could, out of curiosity, what sort of things were we, one, it would be a question of what sort of things are you saying, because maybe we just improve that email.
I mean, this is very direct and
A per
That's us.
personal touch, yes.
Yeah, we can add that in.
So if they find that when I get.
Well, who is the email coming from?
The liaison.
Okay, so,
And so they see it and they're like, oh.
okay, add rainbows, no.
When the candidate response is uploaded, I see we also have the add document edit. If we add liaisons, go back in there and want to find that they don't have a heading on it,
Anybody can go in
go
and check.
ahead and go in there and click it on.
Yeah. Yeah, and that can be done at any time, or you can check something, unremove the check.
That-
It will just recreate the document on the fly.
Yeah, it won't affect the time, the 5-day limit.
Yeah, so, our department has had its own evaluation type of form for the department committee to fill out. So what does that mean in terms of the online process? Does it mean that we are no longer able to use that form?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. Could you explain?
So our department committee for RPT.
Yes.
Right, first of all, I'd say this is my first semester here, so I'm learning all the processes that are around, so I'm just trying to figure out where this process will stand. They have had, or at least I've found in files, a form that they use during their meetings to evaluate the dossier. This is usually a library scale type of form in the case of my department. So that's not in the system, obviously. Do those tools that we used to use go away, and we only use the tools that are there for evaluating?
As much as we'd like you to use us alone, if we're not doing something that you need, then keep doing whatever you're doing. Let us know what that is, because then maybe we can add something into the system. With that in mind, you are required to use this system.
Right, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, I mean,
But yeah,
so when I talk to my faculty, will it be like, okay, that form, we can no longer use that form, or just the system? Or can we actually do a blend of that?
They use the form to, they can use their tools to write their two-page assessment. That would be the same as always, and you just upload that two-page assessment. We don't include any forms like that in
Yeah.
the dossier, but you can use that in preparation.
true. For example, if your DVF review is being written by multiple faculty members, they're probably using a Google Doc where multiple of them can go in and edit at the same time. We're not going to capture that in the system. You're just going to take the end result, PDF it, and upload it in. But however you want to write that is up to each department's. There's only so much, unfortunately, we can add in. Okay? So candidate does a review. They upload or don't upload a candidate assessment if they want to or don't want to. They sign it. Are you signing it?
Well, that's the last part. Request.
Okay.
Request the head signature.
Ah, sorry, we've already done that part. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep, sorry. Candidate adds in their assessment, whether or not they have one. Once you've got that, you then do the final signature trigger, which will send the email to your department head.
Which won't let you do it until the 5 days is up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to keep repeating that. Yeah. You can't move on to that point until the 5 days are over. But once that's over, 5 days have passed, you can now go to this final signatures. Department head signs, candidate signs. You are done. There is no more finalization of the candidate. The signatures is the finalization. If this has to go up to the college level, that just happened. You don't have to send it up. The moment it is done at the departmental level, it moves immediately up to the college. So for those few that would occasionally forget to flip that switch or send it up, We realized, well, why are we even asking you? It's done, so let's just pass it along. Yes?
After the 5-day mandatory response period, is there going to be a button that pops up and says stop?
It automatically ends. Yeah, we are harsh. You go to 12:01 and you're cut off. But I was in the middle of uploading. Too bad you waited too long. 5 days are over.
Does it end and the notification goes to the person who has to sign it?
Oh, that's actually a good point. Once
Sorry?
the 5 days are up, why are we waiting to then send the notification? Probably because we either didn't think about that or there was a reason why we didn't want to do that. That's a good point.
Keep my eye on it.
Yeah.
Remind my department head.
No, you're right. That's probably another unnecessary delay.
Really helpful.
Okay. I want to say there was a reason. Because if the candidate comes back and puts in a nasty gram, no, they're still signing at that point. No, you're right. Okay, so we'll look at auto-triggering that then.
In the past, if something happens with a candidate response or whatever, the candidate can set the response to the liaison to stop it.
Yes,
Is that still okay?
you can still do that within the 5-day period. Yes.
One more little bug on the external evaluators. I entered one twice, the same one. That was the same thing where you had to refresh to be able to enter the next one. So there's the same person.
Same person, same name, but also same email? That's a bug. Now, the other thing that we should have added in there as well is if you try and put someone in there with an NC State address, it should go, I don't think so. That's not external. David is rapidly writing that down, going, I forgot about that. That's there. We'll check. We'll make sure that that's fixed. Yes.
So the second the head signs, it's at the bottom.
Does the head or the candidate sign first?
The candidate signs early on.
They already signed? Okay, sorry. I couldn't remember if the candidate signed after they uploaded their response. Correct. So once the department head signs, it's finalized, goes up. After the candidate responds.
And probably by the time you get to requesting the department head signature, it will be automatic after the period because that's something very easy to put into there.
I would expect that if the candidate responds
And
to a thing, then that's when it would trigger. And if it's not,
it makes sense.
then it would trigger
Well, it will, no, what will happen, it will trigger at the end of the 5 days.
regardless of when
Regardless of whether or not it's been up.
it's in that 5 days and they're ready.
Yeah. Yep.
We have to get these before that 5 days.
Correct.
So the candidate doesn't actually have 5 days.
I don't think the
Can
5 days is
upload it
limited to.
themselves.
I don't think the 5 days is limited to the liaisons. We do record when you upload it in there. So obviously. we don't-
Technically, you were supposed to have 5 days to upload it. The candidate has the ability to upload it themselves. They could be lazy, send it to you, and somehow push the clock there, which that would be the reason why we won't auto-send to signature. So we would have to either automatically send it to signature after the 5 days and enforce that 5 days for both the candidate and you, or we not have that auto move. That's probably why we held off. But at the same time,
It doesn't happen that much.
yeah,
I don't know.
I kind of feel like if they're going to be lazy and not upload it themselves, then they need to have given you time to upload it. That's going to cause us problems. I can already feel that one. We'll think about that.
Well, I like the algorithm. Every year calling somebody,
Yeah.
push the button. You need to push the button. Oh, I didn't realize I needed to push the button. Yes, push the button.
I was going to say, if we're pretty much done there, repeat this at the college level and provost level, and that's the system. Yes. I believe that is a definite no, since Amy is rapidly shaking her head, going no. I get a feeling we have one department at least that will be changing their policies. Any other questions? Have we thoroughly confused you all? Anyone that has questions, log in, start using the system, send us an email at RPT Online. Links at the bottom of the page.